So
of.
DJI, they've been releasing some new products. You know, the RS4. I think they released new DJI wireless mics not too long ago. They're 32-bit,
Yes.
and I think they was it a new follow Magic Fizz system, like a didn't they release something like that, like a
You
new
talking about
Magic Fizz
so
system?
is you talking about the wireless
Yep,
oh my gosh, the
yep.
lidar system. This I've been excited to talk about this because I didn't want to mention it before. But imagine this lidar system with the Pixus 6K
No.
autofocus on manual
Mm,
lenses. To me, that's killer. It's like I think it's like $1,200. I could be wrong. It's not over two. It's under $2,000 for the lidar system.
mhm,
And I
mhm,
don't know if you've seen people using it. It looks like it's working great, and it also has face detect.
mm.
It has face detect in this lidar system, and you can use manual lenses on it. I didn't want to mention this before until we got down to DJI, but to me,
Mhm.
if I were to get a Pixus, I'm buying the lidar system with it,
Mm.
and I would love to, and I know people are going to be doing that, making that
Mhm.
pair, because then you can get high quality cinema glass with autofocus, a full frame open gate, and it. I mean, you don't have like I don't know how it stacks up against Sony's autofocus, but it looks good enough. I mean, at least for me, for what I do, it's gonna be fine from what it
Mhm.
looks like. It's just face detect, but yeah, that looks super freaking cool. The lidar autofocus system. I don't know what they're calling it. I don't know if it's just a lidar system, but
LiDAR system,
have you
probably.
s- have you seen?
A little bit, a little bit, not a whole lot. I keep, I keep every time I'm on social media, I keep seeing this guy who's like, there's this like, it's like this frame where like he's on the top, and then like this LiDAR system with this mica cine lens is on the bottom, and he's just like I mean to point out like the obvious or anything, but he's this Asian guy doing these like hand things. You just hear the LiDAR system going like, you
Oh,
know,
you can
back
hear
and
it.
forth. I keep seeing that ad over and over and over again, you know, and
Mhm.
like whenever you talk about LiDAR, that's the one thing I think about. It's just like this kid doing these weird hand things
I haven't seen that,
and
but
the autofocus on the LiDAR system kind of like being super accurate. Um,
yeah,
but other than
the
that, like, you know, I don't
you
really
actually
think
bring a
about
good
LiDAR
point
too
up.
much, but maybe I
To
should.
me,
So,
well, it's for me is like well, I guess it goes back to when I bought my FX6. The Komodo had come out the same year, the OG Komodo, and I was gonna buy that because they're very similar in price, very similar. The only reason I went with the FX6 was, well, I mean, full frame was like I wasn't totally on board with it because I never had a full frame video camera at the time, so it was autofocus that I needed it. I just needed it for a lot of the work I did. I was like, it just didn't make sense to make that harder on myself, but and I had E mount lenses. So I bought the FX6. But if there's something like this that existed at the time, this kind of changes everything. So I have it up right now. It is $1,000, $999 for the whole system, the handle and all, LiDAR system, autofocus. But you brought up a good point. I don't know how loud it is. If it's like,
mm-hmm,
I haven't heard
mm-hmm.
anybody complain about it, and people at NAB are using it, but like that's clearly a loud environment. Was it actually sound like? But I don't know. But I would love to grab that with the Pixus and see how that does. Having
The
autofocus
my
on it.
main thing with these LiDAR systems is that, and maybe it's only because I haven't been doing a lot of research into them. I haven't like seen a lot of videos of people testing them out in the field consistently, but all I've seen is ads and controlled environments. And like,
Yeah.
you know, you really got to be careful when you see someone testing out something in a controlled environment. Like, even when it comes to autofocus, right? Like, you'll see people walk back and forth up to the camera and all that. And then, like, you know, you're going to be further away from a subject on the shoot and all that. That makes sense. But I feel like it's one of those things where if you're filming a wedding or if you're filming a doc, like most of the time you have to worry about foreground elements
Hmm.
moving in the way, like kind of like my hand, like moving in front of my face when my face is in focus and making sure the autofocus doesn't lose my face. You know what I mean? Like you have to
Yeah.
worry about that. And same thing with this LiDAR thing. It's like, is this LiDAR thing going to focus on who I want it to focus on, or is it just going to focus on anything that like it can focus on? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how's it
Well,
going to actually help me as the operator when I'm not in a controlled environment where it's just me in front of a camera, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Weddings would probably be a tough thing to use. The original lidar system probably would have been a problem for sure in that way. This new one with the face detector can help a little bit, and the hand control, you're always in control of it too at the same time. But and it also, you can hold it. It's kind of like a hold focus if something's coming by. But then again, you're adding more things. Yeah, like you said, a wedding. You're making it really complex almost to where
And could that be like the thing that you were just talking about, the little hand thing? Could that be like a side handle? Like if
yes,
you're okay, all right, then that's
yeah.
good. That's
I
cool.
believe you have to have that. That's the one that to me it's kind of a con because the lidar system has to have this side handle with another screen on it. It's not huge.
Oh,
It
interesting.
looks like a nice handle, but yeah, I think it has to have that. And it has it's just it looks just like a Ronin handle, little scroll wheel
Mm-hmm.
on it. But I think that would be awesome. And you can take over manual whenever you want. So like while it's autofocus, you take control of it. And people explained that it has this like this feedback where it's wanting to pull towards something. There's a weight to the scroll where you feel it wanting to pull toward what it's supposed to be going after, and you let go. It'll. I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. I probably wouldn't for weddings and all. I wouldn't use that, but I would love to have it for corporate work. I mean, just something like that because I would love to just have all cine lenses, but autofocus has always been such a big deal, and it's expensive to get full frame, full frame E-mount lenses right now. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But that to me, I really, really, really want to see that lidar system on a Pixus, and that excites me. Like that to me, if I were to buy the Pixus, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it's a $4,000 camera because I would want that. And that gives it autofocus. But yeah, I don't know how they would do on the Pixus on a gimbal. I don't know. You'd mentioned that before. I don't know how well
It
it would
might
do.
it might be better because I feel
Yeah.
like from what I've heard, comparing the Pixus to the FX6 is like they're very similar body wise. So if the FX6 can fit on a
Yeah.
gimbal, the Pixus might also fit on the gimbal pretty well.
It did
Granted, I
remind
know
me of
that,
the FX6.
huh? You what?
The Pixus does remind me of the FX6
Yeah,
body when it's stripped down.
gotcha. Yeah. So it might fit pretty well on a gimbal because it's just like I mean, it's a box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's evenly distributed for the most part, better than a Pocket 6K Pro. You know, like
Yeah.
being a weird rectangle with a snout.
And that's with the lidar system in Pixis. The only thing I would be missing out on is, well, obviously not the exact the Sony quality of autofocus, but internal ND.
Mm-hmm.
So I would gain 6K in B-raw.
Mm-hmm.
I look at B-raw as a plus over
Mm-hmm.
internally. I'm not including ProRes raw external in the Atomos. I mean, I don't find myself using that much. I like the option in the FX6, but yeah, I don't know. That I thought was really cool. The lidar thing and the Pixis are like my two highlights from this whole thing. I think are awesome. But yeah. So if you like that clip, click right here to see another one. If you want to see the entire conversation between me and Josh, click right here.